Good evening and welcome to our nightly telecast of Just the News, where we put together everything important that's happened around the world and especially in India for you in just 10 straight minutes, almost old school Doordarshan style. So it's just the news, there's no debate, there's no shouting, there's no opinion. Let's get straight to it. We have a lot to work through today. Maharashtra has announced complicated guidelines for COVID that resembles a lockdown. Now, we've spent the last 24 hours working through these guidelines. Let me take you through what it looks like. Now, there are three large categories that you need to know of if you live in Maharashtra. First of all, it is the weekday category between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. Then there is weeknights, 8 p.m. onwards until 7 a.m. the next day, and weekends. So this is how it works. First of all, Section 144 has been imposed in the entire state of Maharashtra all the time, everywhere. No one, more than 5 people are allowed to gather in one place at any time. A strict night curfew between 8 p.m. and 7 a.m. where no one will be allowed to step out at all unless the person is working in essential services or is medical staff. Now, weekday lockdowns from Friday night to Monday mornings where you are not allowed to step out either. All schools and colleges are closed except for the 10th and 12th standard board exams. Now, this is the information we've received so far from the government. We're not sure how the students will continue to actually take these exams while everything else is locked down, but we're hoping for some clarity from the government on this. Housing societies with more than 5 people who've tested positive will be sealed for outsiders. Now, on weekdays between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m., all private offices are to be closed. Everyone is to work from home unless it is banks, stock market, insurance, pharmaceuticals, telecom, electricity, water supply offices, and local disaster management offices. In government offices, non-COVID government staff is to work at 50% capacity. E-commerce deliveries will happen between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. Public places like parks and beaches will be completely closed for the next 1 month. All types of shops, malls, markets, salons, spas will be closed for the next 1 month, except for groceries, medicines, and vegetables. Cinemas, multiplexes, theatres, swimming pools, sports complexes, auditoriums will be completely closed as well. All places of worship will be completely closed for the next 1 month. Restaurants and bars will be closed as well. They will only allow takeaway and delivery between 7 a.m. and 8 p.m. If a restaurant is part of a hotel, they can serve the guests who are staying in that hotel, but not outsiders. We've also, from some clarification, received information that gyms will be closed. Alcohol shops will be open for takeaway. At night after 8 p.m. on weekdays and on weekends, movement outside is prohibited for anyone except those working in essential services. The trains, the metros and the monorails will continue as normal, so will the auto rickshaws and the taxis, although only 2 people will be allowed as passengers in the auto rickshaws at a time, and taxis have to function at 50% capacity. And this is the information we have so far. We'll bring you more as we know it, but Maharashtra, which reported 57,074 cases on Sunday, accounts for 57% of the total cases in the country and about 47% of the total deaths in the last 14 days, which is why we're seeing these measures right now. Altogether, India reported more than 1 lakh cases over Saturday. So that report came in on Sunday. Now, this is the first time ever, including all of last year, that India has reported more than 1 lakh cases in one single day. The centre has also, in the meantime, stopped any fresh registration for vaccinations for healthcare workers and frontline workers to prevent fraudulent entries. Those who have already registered will get their shots. Anyone who happens to be a healthcare worker or a frontline worker who's above the age of 45 can continue to register in the general category and not as a special category, but those below the age of 45 are just going to have to wait for the categories to open up. Health Secretary Rajesh Bhushan wrote a letter to all state governments saying there's been a 24% increase in healthcare worker database who've registered in the last few days, suggesting there may be fraudulent use of the healthcare worker category. But it did cause a lot of people to be very worried about stalling the vaccinations for healthcare workers at a time when cases are spiking and hospitals are filling up. A quick look at COVID restrictions in other states as well. The Delhi government plans to use micro-containment zones where there are 2 or 3 COVID patients in order to stop the spread of the virus. In Goa, incidentally, the Chief Minister, Pramod Sawant, has said that there's going to be no COVID restrictions yet. There's been no decision on imposing restrictions. He's just advised people to be more careful. The Prime Minister will hold a review meet with all Chief Ministers on the 8th of April via video conference. Central teams have been rushed to Chhattisgarh, Punjab and Maharashtra because of their COVID surge. The Prime Minister's office in a statement said the reasons for the sharp rise of cases of COVID can be attributed to a severe laxity in maintaining COVID appropriate behavior. People aren't wearing their masks and they're not maintaining social distancing. Now, French media organization called Mediapart, which is an investigative news website, has published a report on the Rafale deal between India and France. Now, this report is apparently based on an investigation conducted by France's anti-corruption agency called the AFA. The AFA has apparently, according to this report, found evidence of a 1.1 million euro bribe paid by Dassault to an Indian middleman. That's what it says. Now, according to the report, Dassault claimed the money was used to pay for 50 replicas of the Rafale jets to be handed off as gifts, but it was unable to provide any documents or photographs to the investigative agency as evidence that these were ever delivered. Now, the report said to justify this large and rather unusual gift, Dassault supplied AFA with an invoice dated 30th of March 2017, which was supplied to a company in India called Defis Solutions. Now, the report also says that the AFA inspectors asked for an explanation from Dassault, but the company was unable to provide one. Just to quickly jog your memory, back in 2015, when the Prime Minister Narendra Modi was on an official visit to France, he decided to drop ongoing negotiations with Dassault to buy 136 Rafale jets, despite the fact that they had been going on for many years, these negotiations. Instead, the Prime Minister announced a government-to-government deal whereby India would buy 36 Rafale jets that would be delivered much faster from the French state directly. Now, the new deal was questioned greatly for its seemingly higher price that India paid per aircraft, and also for the additional deal that was awarded to Anil Ambani's Reliance. The Supreme Court took cognizance of the matter when petitioners demanded an investigation into the deal, but the court chose not to intervene. Now, Defis Solutions, which was named by the French investigating agency, is run by an individual called Sushen Gupta, who's already being investigated in India by the CBI and the Enforcement Directorate for the Augusta Westland case involving VVIP helicopters that were purchased by the UPA government, which apparently also involved kickbacks paid to middlemen. Now, Defis is one of the subcontractors for Dassault in India, and Sushen Gupta was already arrested and released on bail in the Chopper deal case. The Congress now has demanded an investigation into the allegations made by this report. Union Minister Ravi Shankar Prasad has dismissed this claim and said the Congress basically is making an issue out of nothing. Prasad also said the Supreme Court and the CAG have found nothing wrong with the deal. He said while the French journal has published the issue, we must take into account the issue of corporate rivalry in France. He said the report named middleman Sushen Gupta, who was arrested in the Augusta Westland scheme, whom Salman Khurshid of the Congress claimed to know personally. Now, Mr. Prasad also said that if the Rafale fleet was available to India during the Balakot strike, it would have been a huge help, but the Congress asked for proof of those strikes and they destabilized the willpower of the defense forces of the nation. End quote. In Maharashtra, hours after the Bombay High Court ordered the CBI to carry a preliminary investigation into allegations made against Home Minister Anil Deshmukh resigned on moral grounds. In his resignation letter, Deshmukh said that he didn't want to continue as Home Minister now that there is an investigation on into his actions. Parambir Singh, the former Mumbai Police Commissioner, had alleged that Anil Deshmukh targeted him because he had complained to the Chief Minister about extortion and illegal transfers run by Anil Deshmukh. The High Court today asked the CBI to investigate the allegations within 15 days. In the meantime, Dilip Walse Patil, who is an MLA from Ambegaon, will be taking over as Maharashtra's new Home Minister. At least 22 security personnel were killed, 32 were injured in a Maoist attack in Jargarh Gunda area of Chhattisgarh on Saturday. one Jawan is still missing. According to a report by The Print, the person who is missing has been taken hostage by the Maoists, whose leadership apparently sent a message to the forces saying the Jawan is alive and will not be harmed. According to Print, close to 2,000 personnel belonging to the Special Task Force, the District Reserve Guard, the District Force of Chhattisgarh Police, the CRPF and the Elite Cobra unit started a joint operation on the 2nd of April after receiving intelligence inputs saying Maoists were present in a certain area. Now, the inputs specifically noted the presence of Hidma, who is a commander of the Lethal Battalion 1 of the Maoists in that area. The forces found themselves ambushed by the Maoists when they went into the area, who attacked them apparently with sophisticated weapons. Trapped under a hail of bullets from three sides, the security team found it difficult to escape to safety, resulting in the 22 deaths. Reports also say the paramilitary had to return the next day to conduct a search to retrieve the bodies of those who had lost their lives. Let's take a look now at news from the world of business. The rise in COVID cases has spooked investors on Monday, and the Sensex and the Nifty ended sharply lower. The Sensex, in fact, opened over 1,300 points lower, but it's ended the day 870 points lower. The Nifty ended below 14,650. Heavy selling was witnessed in banks, the auto sector and FMCG stocks. Adani Ports and Special Economic Zone has signed an agreement to acquire the remaining 25% in the Andhra Pradesh Krishnapatnam port for 2,800 crore rupees, making Adani now the 100% owner of this port. Remember, it had acquired 75% of the port in October last year for 12,000 crore rupees. The Adani Special Economic Zones and Ports will also acquire 58.1% stake in the Gangavaram port in Andhra Pradesh as well. LG Electronics has announced it's closing its mobile business worldwide. LG has said the decision to exit the incredibly competitive mobile phone sector will enable the company to focus its attention on other growth areas like electric vehicle components, connected devices, smart homes, robotics, AI and business-to-business solutions. The wind down of the business is expected to be completed by July this year, although some inventory of existing models will still be available after that. Quick look at news coming in from the rest of the world. UK is planning to test an internal COVID passport which will allow people to enter mass gatherings like sports arenas, nightclubs and concerts. According to the BBC, the government has said any COVID passport scheme to provide people in England safe methods of entering mass audience will be time limited. The attempt here really is to be able to open up these events as quickly as possible. In Singapore, from next month, Singapore will accept international visitors who have the IATA Mobile Travel Pass, which will contain digital certificates of vaccination and COVID tests. Singapore will be the first country to adopt this initiative. According to Reuters, it will accept the IATA Pass of pre-departure checks, where basically travelers can enter Singapore showing that they've already had tests in accredited laboratories. Emirates, Qatar Airways and Malaysia Airways, along with Singapore Airlines, are testing these initiatives. Let's take a look at news from the world of science. NASA has said that its Ingenuity mini helicopter that's going to fly on Mars has been dropped on Mars' surface in preparation for its first flight. Now, the aircraft had been fixed to the belly of the Perseverance rover, which touched down on Mars on the 18th of February. Over the next couple of days, the Ingenuity team will check the helicopter's solar panels to see if they're working properly, will recharge the battery a couple of times, and then prepare for the first flight. Ingenuity is expected to make its first flight around the 11th of April. NASA has apparently spent $85 million on this little helicopter. Also, from the world of sports, the Maharashtra Cabinet Minister Nawab Malik on Monday confirmed the state has given its approval for the IPL 2021 matches to be held in Mumbai, which is now in the middle of what can be described as a lockdown. Now, he said the permission that's been given to the matches with restrictions. There will be no crowd at these matches at all. Whoever is participating in the IPL will have to stay in one place in isolation through the entire tournament. He also said the BCCI has requested that all players be vaccinated. BCCI President Saurav Ganguly has confirmed that everything will go on as per schedule. And a little piece of positive news before we wrap up this grim day. a group of IT professionals and engineers have come together and initiated a movement called Let's Read India in Maharashtra, starting a library on wheels that has over 10 lakh books on different subjects. People can borrow the books for a week or completely free on one condition, that they submit a 300-word review of the book before they take the second book to make sure people are actually reading. Really is a good time to encourage reading. I leave you there. There was a lot of that on the news today, but hopefully you found the information helpful. A couple of requests: please subscribe to our YouTube channel. It will encourage us to continue to work for you. We have no other bosses. You are our boss. Leave us some feedback into the comment section. Let us know if you have any questions about what's going on in the country. We'll try and answer those questions for you. And share this video with anyone you feel might find it useful. Thanks for watching. Good night.